Once you have selected each item up here 500 at a time and pulled all of the information for reviews and whether or not Amazon is a seller, and you've done this repeatedly until it's done, this is what your screen will look like. It should have a blank screen, and the reason is because you have this filtered to only show the items where information has not been pulled. So these are all the items that it hasn't been pulled on, which is none of them. So you need to filter it back to show all of the items that Amazon is not a seller on by just clicking this box, and when it's empty, it'll show all the items that Amazon is not a seller on. Now I have changed the list just for the sake of demonstration. This list from this supplier called PK Beauty is going to be a little bit easier to work with to initially show how to analyze a list. So you can see, even though we've filtered out a lot of items, there is still a lot of information here. So we're going to filter it down just a little bit more. First we're going to go to reviews, and I want, in this case, to see items with at least 5 reviews. And then we'll go over to profit, and in this case I want to see items with at least a $2 profit. Now the numbers will vary depending on the list, and I can give that to you if and when it changes, or just give it to you on specific lists. Now what we want to do next is filter out by sales rank graphs. I'll go more into what sales rank is and how it works and how to read the graph in future videos. But basically what you need to know about the historical sales rank is number 1 rating is the best. That means it's selling very, very, very quickly. And then the higher the number goes, the less sales it has. So for instance, in health and beauty, I like to look for sales ranks anywhere under 500,000. Really anything under 1 million, I think, is how I often sort it. But I know that anything under 500,000 is going to sell fairly well. And then we just want to look at the history. So what we do is we go over here, we look, if you click, I'm sorry, don't click, just hover over this icon here. It will show you the sales rank graph. This graph isn't great, but it's not horrible either. What we're looking for is a lot of up and down activity, and we want it between, here it's between 100,000 and 500,000. That's not really great. When it's between 10,000 and 30,000, that's really good. But again, this will still sell. It will just sell slowly. And what we want to do first is eliminate really bad graphs, and then we'll have less data to look at, and then we'll go through one by one. But I'm just going to show you how to eliminate the bad graphs. And what you can do to make this a little bit easier is to just click here on sales rank, and then it will sort it from highest to lowest. And up here, we're going to likely see really good graphs. This one is a little weird. We'll come back to ones like that, but a lot of these Amazon are on. So let me just go to like an 11,000 range, so you can see what a good graph looks like. This is a really good graph here. Again, you can see it hovers right around the 10,000 mark and stays pretty consistent there, and there's just a lot of little ups and downs, and that means there are a lot of sales on this item. Okay, that's a really good graph. This is another really good graph. It did kind of go up here, which means less sales, but then came right back down and then goes right back up. Okay, and you can see kind of cuts it off when you go down here, but what this is from January to July. Okay, so it shows the sales activity from January to July. Now what we want to do is start probably at the bottom, or you could filter it this way, I suppose, and then you can start at the top, which might be a little bit easier. And if you hover over here, you can see that's a really bad sales rank graph, because there's a long period where there were no sales. And this one goes, so that's March to June. There were really no sales. That's very bad. So what I would do is right click on that and click, oh, I got the wrong one there. There it is. Right click on that and click hide. Okay, and then you go to the next one. That one's not terrible, so I'd probably keep that. And you go through one by one. So really no sales from May 1st to June 1st, it's really not great. March 16th or so to April 16th, that's really not very good. So I would eliminate that one, which was here. Hide that. Okay, this one's okay. That one's really bad. Hide that. That one is not great. I would probably hide that. And if you click on it here, it'll actually bring it up on the Keepa site, and then this spreads it out a little more so you can see just how bad it really is. So from May 16th to June 8th, you know, it's really not a great graph at all. I wouldn't want to buy that product. So that gives you a little bit better idea of what we're looking at here. So that one's okay. Yeah, I would hide that. And then just kind of, oops, I didn't mean to bring that up. Just clicked on it accidentally. Yeah, I'd probably hide that. Probably hide that. Okay, so this is what you do, and it goes pretty fast to hide these graphs here. And then you're going to have a lot less to work with when we actually analyze them. So that's what you're looking for. Graphs like that are really bad. Hide all those. And again, as you get up into the 400,000s, you're going to get less and less of these bad graphs. You'll still get some, but you'll get less. That one's pretty bad there. And then as you get up into 300, 200, 100, and then once you get past the 100,000 range, you're going to get a lot less bad graphs. You can see these are very, very good. Alright, so that's how you analyze the graphs and eliminate those very quickly so you have less items to work with. We're just doing the prep work here before we go into every item and look at them one by one. The other thing I like to do is keep all of the columns that we really need to be looking at in the same area. So I've already moved some of these columns over, like this brand column, because this will show brands like CHI and Revlon that may give us trouble. This red dot here says issues or restrictions reported. So I don't like to buy those, and it's nice to see that while we're going through. So we can skip right over that. The other thing is the number of FBA offers. That's the items where a seller sells through FBA. Those are our competition. And when it's 15 items that are sold by FBA, that's not always good, except that this sales rank is really good. So that might be worth buying. But we'll talk about that in the future. It's just nice to have this column over here. And then buy box landed. I like to see that along with the sale price. Now usually these are going to be the same number, but in this case this item doesn't have a buy box, and again we'll talk about this in future videos and what this means. These aren't always the same price. This sell price is what this is being calculated off of, whereas the buy box price may be different. Again, future videos I'll go more into that, but for now we just want all of this information right here. So we want brand, we want the link here, estimated sales, sales rank, profit, margin, ROI, new offers, FBA offers, purchase price, sell price, buy box landed, buy box contention, which shows the most competitive offers. So there's 2 or 3 sellers here that are competing for the buy box. So there's actually 4 FBA sellers, but only 3 of them are really competitive. So that's kind of good to know. And I think that's about it. We do want package quantity over here. We'll talk about that because we want to avoid multi-packs. So we want ones that have either 1 or just show it blank here. And the title is good to have here. So yeah, all of this information should be in one place. And then as far as this stuff, we don't need to be looking at this actively. It's good to have this in here, but we don't really spend a lot of time looking at this. We should have the item number. This is the item number from the supplier. This was from the original spreadsheet. That should be over here because we may have to cross-check some items from the supplier. So you can put this anywhere where you can easily access it. So here, I'll just put it by the Amazon link there. So that's how you filter out the list, filter it down, and in the next video we'll talk about how to analyze each one of these items one by one and what questions to ask, what problems to look for, and eventually we'll have a good list of items that can be sold.